If we're talking about a theory of everything, the first question we have to establish, does God exist?
Yes.
Simple as
Yes. The reality has an identity. Okay? The identity is that as which something exists. Okay? Matter of fact, when you say the word reality, you're naming an identity. You're identifying something. This.
I'm smiling because your answer on this is so beautiful. It just reminds me of Moses at the burning bush. And Moses at the burning bush says, "Who shall I tell the people that you are?" Talking to God. And God says, "Tell them I am that I am."
That's right.
I am identity itself. I'm being himself.
That's exactly right. And that's what the CTMU says. It just comes up with the mathematical structure that you need to build a reality out of that. So you come up with that identity, and then you search it for its properties. You see, once you've built the preliminary framework, then you start deducing the properties of this identity, and you find out that those properties match those of God as described in most of the world's major religions. Right?
Just the theistic religion, so I'm thinking Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, or are you talking also of, say,
Buddhism, Taoism, Hinduism, Vedism? Of course, Hinduism and Vedism, they have a God. Taoism, their central principle is the way, or the Tao,
Yep.
okay? And they don't see Tao as God.
Yep.
And then in Buddhism, of course, you've got, they are trying basically to achieve sunyata, or emptiness, right? Which is, a lot of Buddhists don't even understand what that's supposed to mean. But once again, there's no God there. You can kind of read God implicitly. Some Buddhists, I've talked to Buddhists who actually think that there is a God in Buddhism of a sort. But it's, that concept of pure consciousness is what it is, okay? And if you ask them, well, whose consciousness are you talking about? They will point at themselves and say, my consciousness. In a way, they kind of attribute the existence of everything to themselves. Okay?
I know I've known a lot of people in Hollywood and Washington, D.C. who do the same thing, actually.
Well, that's right. That's why Buddhism is very fashionable among some of those people.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
So yes. But anyway, when you look at what they've all got, you come down to the same thing. All right? Everybody has the Tao, or the way, that's the way reality works, right? And everybody, has sunyata, which is pure syntax, right? Pure cognition with no instantiation, no content, right? And then you've got what the Abrahamic religions call God. It's all the same thing, okay? But what are its properties? Okay, are its properties such that you can deny the existence of God, or are its properties such that God definitely has to exist? And the answer is, God exists.
God definitely
the
has
properties
to
of the central substance and central principle of reality, those properties are attributed to God, including, of course, things like you have the three O's: omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence, but then you've also got consciousness. God has to be sentient.
So we're not just defining God out of existence. Sometimes you'll hear people say God exists, but they'll give God such a weak and shallow definition that the God that they're describing has no relation to the God that we conceive of. You're saying, no, this God is, God himself is conscious and therefore personal?
Yes.